Once upon a time in the secret garden. There once were two joyful children named Little Adam and Little Eve. They were both 7 years old, full of laughter and wonder, and they lived in the most amazing place you could ever imagine. A secret garden made by God Himself. In this garden, the grass felt as soft as a cozy blanket, and the flowers swayed and sang with the breeze. Birds chirped the sweetest songs, and animals of every kind played by their side. Lion cubs, fluffy bunnies, glowing butterflies, even sleepy turtles and playful monkeys. There was no danger, no fear, just peace, joy, and love. Every day God came to walk with them in the cool of the afternoon. He talked with them like a friend, laughed with them like a loving parent, and taught them how to take care of the garden. They listened, wide-eyed, named the animals, and enjoyed the world He made. God had filled the garden with fruit trees, sweet strawberries, juicy peaches, purple grapes, golden bananas, and fruits with names they hadn't even learned yet. They could eat from any tree they wanted, except for one. One quiet afternoon, God sat with them under a tall tree and said gently, "Little Adam, little Eve, my dear ones, I love you more than anything. You can enjoy every part of this garden, but there's one tree I ask you not to eat from, the tree of knowing right and wrong. If you eat from it, something sad will happen inside your heart. You'll feel a thing called sadness, and I don't want that for you." They nodded. They trusted God. He had never been unkind to them, not once. But one bright morning, as butterflies danced in the sunlight and the birds sang their morning tunes, a sneaky serpent slithered out from the tall grass. With a sly smile, he whispered to little Eve, "Why not try the fruit from that tree? It's delicious. You won't be sad. You'll be wise, just like God." Little Eve looked at the shiny fruit. It sparkled in the sun. She glanced at little Adam. He looked curious too. "Just one bite," said Eve. "Just a nibble," said Adam. And so they did. The moment they ate it, something changed, not in their tummies, but deep in their hearts. A strange, heavy feeling came over them. It was sadness. Their smiles faded. Their joy dimmed. They felt different. Suddenly, they noticed they weren't wearing any clothes. They had never cared before, but now they felt embarrassed, shy, ashamed. They ran and hid behind a fig bush, covering themselves with leaves. When God came for His daily walk, calling out with His loving voice, "Little Adam, little Eve," they didn't run to Him like they always did. They stayed hidden. God's voice was gentle, kind. He knew what had happened. When they finally stepped out, their heads were down and nervously moving. God knelt down, looked into their tearful eyes, and said softly, "You ate from the tree I told you not to." They nodded. "We're sorry," they whispered. God sighed, not in anger, but in sorrow. "Because of your choice, you can no longer live in this perfect garden. But listen closely, my little ones. I will never stop loving you. One day, I will send someone very special who will make everything right again." Then, with such tenderness, God made them clothes from soft animal fur to keep them warm. He held their hands and walked them out of the garden. They had to leave the place they loved, but they were not alone. God went with them. From that day on, little Adam and little Eve understood something new, what it meant to obey and what it meant to be forgiven. They had made a mistake, but God's love never left them. And just like them, when we mess up, God doesn't turn away from us. He comes close. He forgives. He gently shows us how to begin again. Because even when we disobey, God's love is bigger than our biggest mistakes, and His plan is always to bring us back to Him. Subscribe for more stories of God's love. May God bless you.